The following may contain language and subject matter which is only appropriate for some audiences. But since we're not very discriminatory here, everybody's welcome to listen. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again on the Low Fact Podcast.
Huzzah!
Cha. Cha. So, Andy, Matt, and Dave here, and I have realized that we didn't go through any of the topics that I had written down this week.
Surprise! Surprise! Surprise!
So we can just give them one shot. All right. So
Quick bit.
number one, why does it seem that people are moving to the extremes? Anybody got any idea?
You mean politically?
Whatever.
Actually, I don't know. People feel more frustrated, so they feel like a more extreme answer is like the solution to their problems.
Look at Andy trying to be all hardworking and actually trying to answer that question honestly.
Oh, my head hurts.
What about you there, Mr. 116th Wolverine? Me neither, so let's move on.
All right, that's 1 point for me.
Second topic. Is the use of power an abuse of power?
That's got to be like depending on the situation, right?
I would say no,
Why not?
because of course you're going to use power, and anytime you use power, you'll end up abusing it.
Absolute power absolutely corrupts.
So you start off by saying no, but your answer was yes.
My answer, well, ask me the question again.
Is the use of power an abuse of power?
No.
Sometimes,
Okay.
because maybe they mean good, but then there are politicians who use their shit for bad, and there's some who don't.
I would say that any use of power is an abuse of power.
Well, that's what the activists are saying.
Are they?
Right.
Really? Why?
Well, look at what's going on. Feminists are like, oh, the men are abusing the power. Non-religious folks about the religious folks, oh, they're abusing power. Anytime anyone uses any power, if you're on the con side of it, you're saying that that's an abuse of power.
Well, that's their fault for being conned.
Well, I think you and I are using con in two different ways. Did you get that, folks? Did you get that? Did you get that?
No, but if you have power, you're going to abuse it.
Not necessarily. That's not the question. The question is using your power an abuse of your power?
Then my answer is still no.
Well, my answer is always going to be no.
Wait, why do you say no?
Well, if you're just using your power, you're just using your power.
Agreed.
Right? It only becomes an abuse of power if you're anti or con the person or group that's using that power.
And not everybody cons.
Hmm?
Not everybody does that who has power, but the ones who do, yeah.
No, you do.
Eventually.
I think eventually it will seem like one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at it. So nowadays, well, okay. Everyone seems to think that getting into an Ivy League university means that you are an impressive candidate.
Set for life.
Well, they, being the powers that be or whatever, have kind of conflated that because there's only a set number of spots for the average pleb, like me, because, Matt here is like Kiwi royalty, and actually
I am not.
actually finding out about Andy's background, so is he. So basically, I'm the only one that is about as plebeian as you can get.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Walking uphill both ways to school, through the snow, barefoot, my parents being
Mr. Dynasty over here.
and uneducated.
I love how he's trying to paint himself as this guy who's not
Humble
a blue blood.
beginnings. I've started from the bottom and
Dude,
now
you
I'm here.
got blue bloods on both sides, your mum and your dad's side.
Well,
You're like little Lord Fauntleroy.
yeah, but that blue blood is that blood is just removed by at least 100 years.
So you don't, yeah. Are you're saying that I'm royalty now?
Well, societal royalty.
Well, how come I'm not doing better then?
I'm not a Kiwi Kennedy now, am I?
Yeah, because look at this like giant palatial mansion that we're recording in here.
Well,
It's
it pays
incredible.
off. It pays off to be an American, Kennedy. Is all you're saying.
I don't
And,
think
you
it does
know,
pay off to be American Kennedy.
I don't know.
There's a lot of dead ones.
But so
Yeah, they're pretty cursed. Seems
so
like.
so going back to the hoity-toity universities, they have spots set aside for legacies, for you know diplomatic children, for stuff that would increase the reputation of that university. So there's only a small number available to the plebs like me, the common man, the poor country bumpkin, from humble origins centuries on.
I like how you painted us as elitists, as like we've been privileged, we are allowed to do whatever we want, but you had to struggle for whatever you had to do.
I'm not saying that you guys are elitist, but you guys are elite,
Dude.
as my people would like to say.
You have house clothes. He has house clothes when he goes home. He puts on his house clothes.
Doesn't everybody?
Not if you're
No.
I thought you were underprivileged. I'm lucky to have one pair of shoes.
I am underprivileged. I have one set of clothes to go
Oh
out.
my God, how many outfits do you have for house clothing?
Not many.
Oh,
Like,
you know
only
what? He's
3 or
right then.
4.
He's not privileged. Not
Only
many.
3 or 4 different house clothes outfits, probably.
Now, instead of trying to tear me down, just kind of listen, brothers.
All right. Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
go for it.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, so so because the children that have very little, they need to be pretty impressive to get into those schools, or they need to be super unimpressive, or they need to be from a super unimpressive lot.
Group.
Yeah. So this whole thing about, okay, if you go to a super Ivy League university, you're set for life. You're really not, because you need to be able to finagle, negotiate society. You know, I this is kind of a non sequitur here, but I do know, yeah, things are kind of bad, and I do know how to fix it, and you fix it by the answer to this one question: how do you want to live? And it only has two possible answers.
Which are?
Well, I'm not going to tell you guys, because that's something you guys are going to have to figure out on your own, or you're going to have to intuit that from listening to me.
And that's probably the most annoying thing for people listening. We should call it the asked but not answered podcast.
We'll call it edging questions.
Way to bring the porno into that.
What questions?
Edging.
Why is that porno?
Do you know what
Look it
edging
up.
is? No. Edging is when you jerk off, but you stop right before you come, and you keep doing that over and over.
That's called edging.
That's edging.
Or you have someone else do it for
Or
you,
someone
which
else
is
do it for
which is a
but-
lot more satisfying.
I have a very lonely description of it.
You guys are messed up.
You guys.
We're messed up. You're the racist.
What do you mean, you people over here?
I didn't say you people.
Oh, that's
Now you're
right.
putting words in my mouth.
I say that a lot.
I know.
But no, because we live in communities, and in community, it has been my empirical observation that your aptitude is not even in the top 5 things necessary. Now, funnily enough, all communities say your aptitude is the most important, but they don't. Well, they don't tell you which aptitude.
They just put a broad word out there and hope
Yeah,
you
they-
interpret it correctly.
Well, no, they put a broad word out there, and everybody interprets it as aptitude, meaning being really good at what you do, being super intelligent, being whatever it is that goes on with aptitude. But really, the aptitude that's the most important in a community is your ability. If it comes down to ability, a lot of times it doesn't, but the community looking out for you.
Oh, like helping you out all the time? Like always having an extra hand because of the community you're involved?
The people seem to do really well in community don't necessarily do very well on the desert island,
Oh, okay.
and vice versa. I don't know if the two are mutually exclusive.
Kind of like they do well when they can depend on others, but once they're on their own, there's like fuck.
Or maybe they can't survive on their own.
And it's the difference between being a bear which you hate, but a bear is a
Rightfully
solitary
so.
is a solitary animal, just like a tiger.
I like tigers.
Or
Wolves. I know wolves aren't.
wolves live in a pack.
But I said there are lone wolves.
That's because they've been kicked out of their pack.
Right.
Those are my boys, lone wolves.
They don't end very well.
I know. They were my boys for a little.
Usually lone wolves get attacked and killed by the rest of the pack.
Probably right.
That's what happens.
Do they? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Wolves are mean.
Nature is metal.
Nature is what?
Metal.
Metal?
Metal.
Oh.
Which means it's hardcore. It's brutal.
Okay.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, see, I didn't know. I forgot what I was talking about.
We only got to do two questions.
Oh, okay. So, question number the third. Oh, and we're running out of time.
No, we're not.
Okay, we're not, but here
Probably
we go.
shorter is better, though.
Should people in power have higher expectations placed on them?
Yes.
Yes.
But there never are.
I know.
But they should.
Well, I should also have a lot of things going for me, but I do not.
We hold you to a higher standard, so like you don't really live up to it. But
I'll never live up to any standards.
you still hold it there. You just don't live up to it.
Yeah, well, y'all going to be sorely disappointed.
That's life in general.
Maria, if you're listening, I still love you.
Maria, he's lying.
I wonder if she's heard the episode. Probably not.
And
We did an episode.
I guess
where
the last one, and we might continue this later. Is why do we all think that we are better than everyone else?
It's an ego thing, like why would you think you're worse than everyone else?
No, but it's kind of funny that every single person thinks that they are better than every single other person.
We have a biased view of the way we look at the world, so
I think it's a self-preservation thing.
Is it though? Okay, well, I don't understand. What do you mean?
Well, we naturally have to see ourselves as separate and see ourselves as... Well, it doesn't really...
Yeah. Way to go there, Mr. Einstein. Kiwi Kennedy, folks.
I can't really answer.
all right, he has an opinion, but he has no facts behind it.
What about there, Mr. Mayan Royalty?
What was the question?
Yeah. See what I got to work with here, folks? It's hard enough being as stupid as I am, but when I'm in a group with other people that are just as... Well, no, you guys are a bit smarter than I am.
Nah, I'm pretty retarded.
You said it, not me.
So it's like the whole playing up or down thing.
Huh?
If you play tennis with people who are shit, your game goes to shit.
So
if
you
play
almost...
tennis with people who are really good, your game gets better.
So if we just brought in another person and I shut up, you guys would be like the McLaughlin group over here?
Yeah. No, I think you're saying we're worse than you, though.
No, I don't think that.
Really?
Do you think you're better than everyone else?
I think that because I'm a person, I have to. And the only reason I think that is because... Have you ever just kind of, think back amongst yourselves about any time you ever went on a rant or you really disliked something that somebody did?
That's like every day for me.
Whatever.
I did one this morning.
And just think about if you do it out loud and there's another person observing you do this, right? That person's going to sit there and think that you're crazy.
Uh-oh.
Depends on the point I'm making.
Well, no. I mean, if you're going off on a sure enough rant, like someone cuts you off in traffic or someone does something that's just incredibly stupid, and you point out how stupid this person is for doing whatever it is, someone is inevitably going to chime in talking about, you don't know that person's life, blah blah this, blah blah that, right?
That's the big thing these days.
Right? But think about if the tables were turned and you are the observer of someone else going off on some rant. Maybe the same rant that you went off on that you thought you were so justified in doing. You are then going to think that this other person is a bit unreasonable.
Fair point.
So that's what I mean by we always think that why do we think we're better than everybody else? How come I can have this rant about some stupid person, but
I think it does go back to self-preservation.
my man over here on my left or my right, if they start doing it, I'm going to be all like, well, hey now.
I thought it was about self-preservation, but I
think it
can't
is, 'cause
answer it, though.
Imagine
Like,
always thinking you're wrong all the time, like the negative effects that would have on your mind.
Well,
to, like
it's-
always be questioning yourself. You got to have a little confidence.
It's not an either or type of thing though.
What do you mean?
Well, just because, I mean, you could be just as right. You could be very right in your opinion. Another person can be just as right in their opinion, and yet you think that their voicing of it and their opinion is a little over the top.
Do I still think it's right?
What?
Like, even it doesn't matter how they're delivering it. Do I still think their opinion is right, even if they're doing it in a crazy way?
Sure.
Because if I do, then even though I think it's a little eccentric, there will be a part of me that'll be like, well, he does make a point. I know he's crazy.
See, there you go, right? That's what I'm talking about, right?
But I still agree that he's right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, you might take the point, like, okay, yeah, that person's right.
So you probably discount the craziness.
But he's still crazy.
He's still crazy.
Is what I'm saying.
But there's a reason to listen. You can still point out that he's nuts and still agree that he has something to say.
But
kind
when
of
you
convenient
do
if
it,
they're a bit
but
nuts,
when you
right?
do it, you're not nuts. Is my point.
I know, because I'm better.
That's what I'm saying. Now, Andy just kind of threw me a solid and did that just because well, actually, he's just a bastard. He's an asshole. He's playing with me.
A little self-loathing.
But, that's my point, right? I mean, why is it okay for you, but not okay for somebody else is my point.
It's our ego. It's the brain and the way it thinks. It has to be like that because
And see, Andy is now showing off his
Is it ego or is it privilege?
it's ego.
Everybody here is showing off their elite status because they're using words here that I don't
Fuck your common
understand.
man. Fuck your childhood and your bullshit house
clothes.
house clothing.
I don't know what ego is. I don't know what privilege is,
To the man who thinks he's the greatest man on earth.
which would be the men on my left and my right.
Whatever, dude.
Oh God! Did we get through all 4?
Yeah,
Oh, fucking sweet! Now you can.
Is it done?
sure. I think it was done a while
We're
ago,
done.
but
We're done.
But
All right,
we're still beating this horse.
You can find us on Twitter, Instagram at LowFatPodcast. You can email us. Please email us, lowfatpodcast@gmail.com, or you can just search Low Fat Podcast and find us on Stitcher, iTunes, and YouTube, or wherever else you pick up your feed. Thank you.